Why, hello, everybody on YouTube. I do hope that you are having a wonderful day. I got to a little bit later today. We went to a family adventure. We went on a little bit of a trip, and we are back home now. The kids had a good time. You know, they get kind of fussy during lunchtime, but that is normal. If you have children, you know what I'm talking about. It is good to see everyone. I know this is later than most of my streams. And today we are going to be talking about how everyone is arguing about PlayStation. We have some stories about PlayStation, the PlayStation earnings. I'm going to do my best on this one because there was so much that came out of the PlayStation earnings call where here's what I don't get about the whole PlayStation earnings call. Good to see everybody in chat. Good to see Junior. Good to see James. PlayStation has their web transcripts online. They did live translation of the event, and people are saying that the quotes, which are quoted directly from PlayStation, are incorrect. It's very strange to me because everybody's arguing about the definition of PlayStation and what they're saying, and I kind of feel like, and this is going to be, hey Danny, good to see you, Filironi. I kind of feel like they're out there fighting ghosts. None of this is bad. PlayStation's not abandoning hardware. PlayStation's not doing anything crazy. They've kind of hit the apex of where they're going to with console sales. They might surpass the PlayStation 4, which would be great for them. But right now, they're making it clear that hardware is going to be less of an emphasis for them because hardware is obviously at the top of the bell curve and will probably start going downwards as it has for every console generation for PlayStation. And people seem to think that their talk about having less influence on hardware means they're abandoning hardware. And one question I always have is, why does it have to be so absolutist? It doesn't have to be that concrete of a definition. I think what's going to happen is that PlayStation will probably still talk about their console sales numbers, but they are aware with the rising costs of everything in life that they're probably not going to sell a ton until probably GTA 6 comes out. I personally think GTA 6 could be the moment that puts them over the top in terms of console sales on the market. And let me see here. And I think we're just going to have to wait and see what ends up happening. But I don't think any of it's a big deal. I don't think anything that they said in their earnings call was a big deal. I think it's very interesting to see people react to this. That's what's been so surprising to me, because none of it is controversial or like a weird or crazy take. It just is, right? It just is what is happening. And it's really not that big of a deal. It's smart on places to diversify. And if we look, so I believe that earnings call, so they're at 83 million units sold or something like that. So I think that was the end of their 2025, but they were something within 2 million units. Does anybody have it off the top of their head? It was like 83.2 million. That's weird because my chart does not. That's not. By the end of 2018, they had sold 94.4 million. Anyway, maybe we'll do the console thing another time when I can verify my numbers are accurate. But the last number I had was 77.7, which puts them 2.8 million before. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting off track here. But anyway, they're not really focused on console sales. Console sales continue to do quite well. They were within 2 million last time. Really, the whole conversation is around this one particular quote, which is surprising because it's not that big of a deal, in my opinion. Here's the quote specifically that started going around. Sony Senior Vice President Sadahiko Hayakawa says they are gradually shifting their gaming business from a hardware-centric business model to a community and engagement-based platform business model. In the gaming business, we are moving away from a hardware-centric business model more to a platform business that expands the community and increases engagement. Now, this isn't anything different than they have said since 2017. I saw people quoting them as far back as 2017 saying that this isn't necessarily their focus. But I think the reason people are calling this out is because for so long, fanboys have held up the console sales as some sort of key metric that is very important to them. Everybody else, Xbox, PlayStation, everybody, even Nintendo in the business world, they're talking about monthly active users. Now, Nintendo, obviously, they're off on their own island by themselves. They're doing very well. But everybody seems to be convinced that this means, oh, PlayStation's getting out of the hardware business. No, they're not. And I don't think most people actually believe that. I don't believe that. I don't think Xbox is getting completely out of the hardware business either. I think they're going to have a drastically different Xbox in the future. Yeah, and then there's people like True SSJ Havoc. Read the rest of the context. I watched the whole thing, dude. He's saying that they are going to move away from a hardware-centric business model, and they're focused on monthly active users. They have been saying this the whole time. There is no additional context that changes what he has said. It doesn't change the nuance of the conversation. He is clearly saying that they are still going to continue doing what they're doing, but a key metric for them isn't going to be how many PlayStation 5s they sold. The key metric for them is going to be monthly active users. And it's not just the console. They're talking about users and expanding where they launch their games. We can watch it together and you can tell me what additional context I am missing here. So everyone's like, no, there's more context to it. I watched the presentation. I watched it the whole time. And I made a note to myself. I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty interesting. And then everybody's like freaking out about this one statement. So here it is written out. Do you want to listen to it? They are just talking about games. Let's listen to it.
Catalog. And for example, in the music business, the music streaming and EMI music publishing has been acquired, and then we increased the music catalog.
Yeah, I'm listening wrong, Paris. You're right.
In the speech and in gaming business, and moving away from a hardware-centric business to the community-based engagement business, and then that has been increasing. So now, as we make more transition to entertainment creation, the stability and the productivity, our performance is increasing. So this upward revision might not have been direct result of these. However, the music publishing and also acquisition of a music catalog, and then also the acquisition of a Crunchyroll, and these are the areas where we are seeing growth. And as a portfolio, we have been expanding our businesses and also improving our profitability.
We're expanding our businesses and improving our profitability. Why in the world are fans on social media not getting it? They're going to make more money. It's a good thing for PlayStation. And I don't need to compare this to anything anybody else is doing. It's not necessary. It's not necessary to bring Xbox into the conversation. If we just look at what PlayStation's doing, it's not complicated. You guys are going to like third-party translations. This is what PlayStation, this is the PlayStation translation. This is what they said during their earnings call, during the Q&A section. It's a 45-minute presentation. I linked to the official site where you can go watch the whole presentation. They say some really juicy stuff about Bungie and Marathon in there that we're going to get to in a second. But this isn't a big deal. This means PlayStation is going to make a lot more money. Now they're going to do it in ways that you might not like. They're going to figure out how to bring more games to PC. And there's even a lot of speculation that they're going to figure out how to bring more games more regularly to even platforms like Xbox. That's the theory. Because of the job posting that says that they are looking for ways to expand to PC and Xbox. This isn't like a gotcha. This isn't, it's just such a nothing burger, but everybody's making it out to be like the biggest thing ever. It's just Sony. It's just Sony saying we're going to increase our profitability. That's it. So anyway, this has gotten everybody really, really riled up online. They're arguing. I responded to one of MBG's posts, and I'm just, oh yeah. And then there was this post where they said, no, Sony's statement doesn't say PlayStation is going multi-platform. PlayStation is already multi-platform. Destiny 2 is multi-platform. MLB has been multi-platform for years. And their future games are planned to be multi-platform also. Why? Because you have an increased profitability. This notion is only a notion on X, where the idea that you're going to hire somebody for $320,000 a year or $300-something thousand a year, and their grand strategy is going to be not to stop releasing games on PC and stop releasing on Xbox. Like, you guys got to, that's not reality. That's not what they're hiring that person to do. They're hiring that person to figure out how they release on Xbox. That's right, Xbox, and how they release on PC and what that strategy looks like. And there's a whole team dedicated to figuring out how they're going to do that and still respect, you know, the great games that PlayStation fans love. So I do think that they are going to get more aggressive with releasing their games on PC and on Xbox. That's my personal opinion. And that doesn't detract from anything about the PlayStation brand. It means the PlayStation brand is going to be more profitable and more powerful, which means maybe they can release more than two exclusives a year. Now, I honestly, there's so many great games right now. There's like Battlefield, that's a multi-platform game. There's, you know, Metal Gear Delta coming out at the end of the year that I've been excited for. There's Ninja Gaiden 4, which would have been nice to get a preview of, just saying. There's all of these games. There's all of these games coming out right now and all of these games to play that I don't actually mind if PlayStation decides to focus on only 2 tentpole exclusives a year, especially now that Marathon's moved to 2026. We'll see about that one. But I just wanted to give my 2 cents. I think a mountain is being made out of a molehill here. I think PlayStation has been telegraphing that they have a focus on monthly active users for nearly a decade now. And I think the only caveat to it all is that as we're at the bottom, we're like on the other side of the bell curve for the console generation. People who really focus on that start getting really nervous about console sales or something. And for me, I'm just like, who cares? They did tremendously well with the PlayStation 5. Why is this threatening whatsoever? I really don't get it, if I'm being totally honest. And I literally laughed out loud out of this article. I just quote tweeted and said lol, because I'm like, what are you doing? No, that's not what it means. It doesn't mean they're going multi-platform. They are multi-platform. What even is this article? They've been multi-platform for years. It's because in their mind, they think it means the same thing that Xbox is doing. That's really why. And I don't know if it's like the only way that they think of things in black and white like that. But even if you look at it in a vacuum, I just don't get it, if I'm being totally honest. PlayStation, the end of the story is PlayStation's going to make a lot more money. And here's what they said. We did a live, this is making the rounds too. They talked about it in this presentation. She doesn't say anything. She says like one thing for some reason, and they didn't let her say anything
I have a number of questions I'd like to get to today. I'm going to start with the platform business. As Sony Interactive Entertainment and the industry as a whole move towards multi-platform gaming, how will you protect the value of the PlayStation console?
The PlayStation experience is...
Let's listen to what he said again, because this guy works at PlayStation. This is all scripted.
Platform gaming, how entertainment, as Sony Interactive Entertainment.
As Sony and the rest of the industry move toward multi-platform gaming. They say it.
As Sony Interactive Entertainment and the industry as a whole move towards multi-platform gaming, how will you protect the value of the PlayStation console?
Guys, so like they're going multi-platform more so than they already have. They're already multi-platform. And here's Herman's whole response about how they're going to protect the value, which is what PlayStation fans, I think, are most concerned about.
The PlayStation experience is not just about the gaming console hardware, nor it's not just about the content as well. It's an experience in a community that shares this excitement. For over 30 years in the past, we've been committed to being the best place to play and publish. And this has helped us establish a dedicated community of 124 million players and then invaluable network over the 4,000 creators. PlayStation console experience is designed to enable immediate gameplay in an immersive and accessible way. We're doing this in a completely integrated way, designing and manufacturing all aspects from the chips to the backend system. And we continue to look for new and innovative ways to broaden our reach and bring our content and a service to the players. The value of the PlayStation console is that still the best place to play, and it's growing as we reach an even broader audience.
And you're quite right that we're continuously exploring new ways for players to interact with their franchises. It's important to realize that we're really thoughtful about bringing our franchises off console to reach new audiences, and that we're taking a very measured, a very deliberate approach in doing that. Particularly on the single player side, our tentpole titles, there's such a differentiated, the point of differentiation, I should say, for the PlayStation console. They're real showcases of the performance, of the quality of the hardware. So we want to ensure that players get the best experience from these titles. And we're very thoughtful about how and if and how we bring these titles to other platforms.
So they're taking a measured approach. They're being careful, but they literally gave this presentation not that long ago. And now during the earnings call, they're reiterating what they said. They said there's less of a focus on the hardware and it's more about community and community experiences and monthly active users. There's nothing to be angry about. There's nothing crazy going on here. And honestly, if I thought about where they could possibly be bringing their games, there's one platform with 30 million users that would love to play their games. And I don't think there's any value proposition lost if PlayStation were to ever bring something like The Last of Us to the Xbox platform at this point. If you're a PlayStation gamer, if The Last of Us or God of War or Spider-Man comes to Xbox, are you going to throw your PlayStation in the garbage? Are you going to cut it in half with a chainsaw? I mean, if that is your reaction, I think you should definitely talk to somebody, because those games have been out for years. All those games have been out for long enough that I don't think bringing them to the final platform really, or like, what if they bring them to the Switch? If they bring Spider-Man and Last of Us 2 to Switch, or Last of Us Part 1 to Switch, is that going to be a problem? Or is it just if it comes to Xbox? Because they're coming one way or another. Make no mistake here. They're either going to come to the Xbox platform via the new infrastructure that's being developed at Xbox, where it's more of a Windows-based box and you can launch Steam on it and launch your Steam games on it. Those Steam games include games like Spider-Man, which I tested and verified with the ROG Xbox Ally X. You want to know what the future of gaming looks like? It looks like the ROG Xbox Ally X, the Steam Deck, etc. PlayStation, the rumors are that they're developing a handheld also. So they're going to be getting in on the fun beyond the PlayStation Portal, which a lot of people love. And yes, on the Xbox side, somebody pointed this out in chat, I do think that Halo will also be making its way to the PlayStation 5. Now, I wanted to actually go through the video and make a more nuanced, scripted thing about what's going on here. But long story short, I'm actually not trying to like rage bait or rile anybody up with this, but this is just what is happening, and this is what is going to happen. If somebody wants to call in and debate with me or something like that, I'm completely open to that. You can hit !Discord in chat, and you can call in and talk to me about it. But this is just the way the industry has been evolving, and it's really not a big deal. Let me open up the Discord right now, because there's a lot of people really passionate about this in chat, and I'm very open to having conversation with whomever about their thoughts on this, because like I don't lose anything if PlayStation doesn't bring their games, because I play on where the games are. There's no reason to be upset about it. We have a few super chats here. Let's get through these really quick. First, James just gave a super chat. Thank you so much, James. James also gave another super chat with an actual message. A different topic, but I'm starting to hate how games are being announced and then canceled. Announce a game that's 2 to 6 months away from release date. Yeah, I enjoy that also. I was pretty frustrated by the Perfect Dark announcement and then cancellation, because that trailer was super polished, and it was pretty strange to see that they would just cancel it afterwards. I get where you're coming from. Ginger, why are you riled up? Smoke says someone did cut their PS4 in half over God of War on PC. Yeah, like those people, I seriously hope you talk to somebody, because that is such a strange reaction to more people getting to play a great game that you loved. I think that's honestly the worst side of console fanboyism, when more people get to play the amazing games that you love and you cut your console in half. What are you doing? You know? Danny Passion said, now I understand why the video is so obvious that it's scripted. This was a subliminal message for fanboys, says Danny Passion. Here's why I think they did this presentation, and that they've alluded to what their strategy is moving forward in the coming years. They are doing the same thing Xbox does. Xbox does this thing where they will start hinting what they're going to do a year or two away from it actually happening. Like when Phil Spencer said, it's only 4 games, and now PlayStation is basically saying the same thing. You know, it's just a few games right now. We're just checking it out. Well, you know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen when they actually release those 4 games? They're going to sell well. So they're going to continue doing that. So yeah, let me open up the Discord here. So it's been a while. Basically, you hit !Discord in chat. And if you want to share your thoughts live on the stream, we can have a quick conversation about it and discuss. And yeah, that's it. Do I have streamer mode turned on? I don't see anything I'm worried about right now. Let me see if there's like a streamer mode in settings or whatever. I don't know where any of that stuff is. Profiles, content, and social data. Is there a streamer mode that I need to worry about? Whoa! Thank you for the Aries. First of all, it is great to see you again, Aries. Thank you for the epic tier membership gifts. That really means a lot. Okay, so real quick, let's talk about. I'm sorry, Maine. What do you mean Sarah left? What do you mean Sarah left? That didn't actually happen, did it? I don't think that's true. I don't see a link for the Discord channel. You know what? Let me open up Discord. Let me open up Discord, and I will create an invite people. Edit invite link. Expire app. Expire never. All right. Boom. All right, so I'm going to drop this in the YouTube chat and Twitch chat. I probably need to update it. And you can join. What you do is you join the Discord, and if you know how to use Discord, you go into the calling in, and then I'll bring you into the live chat when you're ready. Here, we're going to practice it right now. Let's see here. Make sure there's nothing weird on my screen. So here's how it works. You join the Discord, and you can see You can see all these channels here, right? Let me see if I can make this a little. So like Phil Aroni, he's in the calling in room. I will bring you into the waiting room. And that means you're up next. So buckle up because you're going to go live on the air. And then Phil Aroni will I'll probably just give him admin rights. And then if you're popping off a little too hard, then he'll make sure you don't get on the air. And then I'll just drag you into the live chat. All right, Phil Aroni, let's do it. Hey, you there?
Oh,
Hey, how's
Yeah.
it going? Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, Sarah Bond didn't leave. That's the second time somebody has said that in my chat. I don't know why people keep saying that. But yeah. Rachie points out, where's the Sarah Bond mobile initiative? I think that's done at this point. So yeah. Phil, you've been wanting to call in for a while. We'll set a timer. Because otherwise well, nah, it's fine. Just what did you want to talk about? Hold on. People say they can't hear you, but it says your audio's coming through.
do I have a privacy thing set on?
Can you hear it now?
Yo,
Chat?
ABC 123.
They say they can't hear you. Now they say
But
they
you can hear me.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
good. I don't know. That was weird. All right, go for it.
No, the kind of the duality between like all these companies that have been going on. So funny enough, you're talking about Sarah Bond, the mobile initiative. Microsoft specifically waited for the Epic and Apple stuff because they can't sell their stuff the way they want to on there. So they were kind of like, they were really hyping it up, but then they're like, let's wait for that court case to come through and see what we can do. And you're
That's
going to
your
see this
theory?
happen. What's that?
That's your theory?
Yeah, because no, there's no other way around it. I mean, even like Fox and CNN, like business sites, talked about the storefront stuff. I mean, this is a huge issue. It's even becoming worse now with the MasterCard and Visa stuff. It's gonna happen, but it needs to happen all at once to be good.
Yeah, and the MasterCard Visa stuff, I did see that the president did something about it. I haven't read into it very much, but do you know what happened there?
So okay, it's kind of it kind of comes between. So there's stuff that happened in the UK, but like you probably heard about that. That's even more restrictive. The
No,
law in
but-
the US is basically it's like to protect children, that kind of stuff. That's kind of getting lumped in between two things. Basically, what Visa and MasterCard are doing is kind of weirdly off topic, but they're basically being the gatekeepers of what you can buy and watch, which is technically a First Amendment violation. Which I don't think they're gonna have to revert it back. The fact that Valve even respond is it takes a lot for Valve to get an answer out of Valve. So that's part of it. But going back to the main point we're talking about, like this console divide thing, there's no such thing as divide console more. The fact I can have Discord on my PlayStation, Xbox. Remember earlier this generation, we couldn't talk to each other. Now we can.
He brings up a good point. So he's talking about like even when Destiny was independent and Bungie was independent, Xbox players couldn't play with PlayStation players. I think the first game to do it was the car game. What's that car game called, Villaroni?
Card game.
It's like
a lot
Rocket,
of Magic Gathering.
Rocket something.
Oh, Rocket League.
Yeah, Rocket League did it.
I thought you said card game.
accidentally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and anyway, they fixed it, and then now everybody can play with everybody. So like we're so far beyond the idea, to your point, we're so far beyond the idea of consoles being locked ecosystems where they don't want people from other ecosystems playing with theirs. Why? Because something like Fortnite came along, and Fortnite literally could bully the big guys into letting everybody play together, and then Fortnite made a ton of money. So now everybody wants to replicate that. That's why Jim Ryan greenlit 20 something live service games. That was his strategy at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, and to be fair though, they had successes, but Helldivers 2, it's kind of hard to call Sony successes. They kind of did independent of Sony. They kind of didn't listen to them, and now they're trying to listen to them. So, because all the bullshit of sorry for my swearing, with Helldivers early on, and now it's doing a 180 and it's coming on Xbox. Things are changing way faster than I thought they would. And you know what the best-selling game is going to be on Xbox? It's going to be Gears and Helldivers, easily.
It's Minecraft.
Well,
It'll
okay,
be Minecraft.
but that's like in-game sales and stuff. But like, I guess new release sales,
Mhm.
however you want to butter it up. But I mean, yeah, I mean, games are more expensive. You need more revenue streams, and guess what? It's working for everyone that does it. I mean, here's the thing. This is how dumb the console wars are. How about I have a Samsung TV and Destin Legary here has an LG. Well, you can't watch HBO Max in your LG, or you can't watch certain content on your Samsung. See how dumb that is?
Yeah, I think that's what the console manufacturers are slowly realizing, except Nintendo, of course. Nintendo, I think they're really special because they managed to make a completely locked ecosystem where they don't let their games go anywhere else, and that's the only way you can play. But at the same time, they're like 10 years behind in terms of technology. So they focus so much on great gameplay. They're able to spend the time, but even Nintendo is saying, we need these small wins so that we can have the big wins further down the line, and we need to make considerations about that. So yeah, I totally hear you on what you're saying, Phil Roney.
And remember too, Nintendo does it with what was it, like 1/4 of the employees at Sony and Microsoft? I think Sony was second. Microsoft.
Great point. So we talked about this a few weeks ago on the stream. Nintendo has the fewest amount of employees, and they are the number one. Next up is PlayStation with about half the employees of Xbox, and they're number two. And then Xbox has the most employees, and they're in last place. So I mean, that's sort of a different topic, but it's just sort of interesting to think about. Anyway,
I do see one thing I will want to point out too. I don't know if people notice this. Haven't you noticed how Sony's been in the last 6 years been investing into companies that make PC ports, and they're coming out faster and better than the first times they kind of goofed up a bit, wasn't the best, but it's getting better and better and faster, and it's going to continue. I wouldn't be shocked if we see 6 months to a year turnaround time. And I understand with PC, you have to, if you have ultra wide, you have to enable those features, redo your HUD and all that kind of stuff. But they're all going the same directions. Microsoft is there first by necessity. Sony's doing it because they know they're going to eventually need it, and they've taken so many losses this gen on games. I would love to see the spreadsheet of how much they're trying to write off, because Concord was a failure.
Hurt. It hurt for
and
sure.
Then Marathon's on life support, and I don't know what Fair Games is going to do. Hyenas was canceled. That's a different company. But then also that Contraband game from Microsoft is apparently canceled now too. So
that's a good segue. We can go to that next, actually. Thanks, Phil Roney.
No problem.
All right, appreciate you calling in. So if you want to call in, long story short, you just click the Discord link. It should invite you in. If there's for some reason you're not able to get in, just go to waiting room from there, and then we can have a conversation about whatever you want to talk about. So, a lot of people want to clip me out of context or whatever. Come on, Red Dragon. Come on, just join the Discord. Have a conversation with me if you want to. Just try and keep it a little bit clean, okay? Phil Roney, thank you so much for joining. He brought up the Contraband news, and I actually had that tab open as one of the main stories I wanted to talk about. Yeah, here it is right here. And then we could talk about a few of the Xbox stories. So we covered off on where is it? We covered off on some of the PlayStation stuff. And long story short, that's where we left it off. Before we jump to the Contraband stuff, Ari says, are you still doing the cookie business? We did the cookie business for about 2 years, and we stopped because we had a second child, our second kiddo. And then we just we never went back to it. So everybody brings up the cookie thing. The cookie business did very well for us, just so you know. But there's a lot of, when you have an LLC, there's a lot of complicated things with the government that you have to set up. And when you ship the cookies, there are all of these challenges with a cookie business. So we just said, you know what, this is a lot of work. We had our second kiddo. I think we should probably just pump the brakes on it. Yeah, even it's $800 just to have an LLC in California. Just to have the LLC, you pay $800. So right away, you need to make up the $800 that you're going to pay, or figure out how to have your tax person do whatever they do. Anyway, it's a pain in the butt. So to answer your question, I mean, like, if you want to come over, we'll make you some cookies, but yeah, we don't run the business or anything anymore. Now, Phil Roney, during the call in, and you are still welcome to call in. I'll keep an eye on it here. Nobody's jumping in the Discord or anything. He brought up the Contraband news. So in Contraband land, Jason Schreier is reporting Xbox is canceling Contraband, announced in 2021 from Avalanche Studios, just cause after 4 years of radio silence, sources tell Bloomberg News. This news arrives weeks after a mass layoff in which Xbox canceled several other big titles. Now, if you'll rewind the clock a little bit to when the layoffs happened, somebody pointed out in my channel that, hey, Destin, did you notice that the Contraband trailer is offline? And I said, that's interesting. I didn't notice that. Let me take a look. Sure enough, it's offline. There's been no updates on the website. And I have a bit of a hot take on the Contraband cancellation. Totally makes sense. There's been no buzz about Contraband, except for only the most hardcore Xbox fans have been hyped for Contraband. We have no idea what that game was, beyond the rumors that Jez Corden probably leaked. And honestly, if it wasn't coming together and it was looking anything like what Perfect Dark and the other game that they canceled, Everwild, if it looked anything like either of those projects, then yeah, it's better to cancel it now, in my opinion. It hadn't been too much of an investment in terms of monetary. But if you're going to cancel it, I would rather they cancel it now than after they spend $1 million making a trailer and doing a whole marketing swing with Perfect Dark. So we all knew Perfect Dark was in trouble. And yeah, so that one's done. Naro pointed out that Jason Schreier did have a little bit of an update here. He said, OD, the collaboration between Xbox and Hideo Kojima is still in development, a Microsoft spokesperson tells me. So that was good news. It does mean that the OD project is still in the works. But in my opinion, Contraband getting canceled, it's the right call. It's just, I don't see the fanfare. I don't see the need in the Xbox library for this. This is one where I'm going to say, yeah. My big criticism for Everwild should have been canceled sooner. And my big criticism for Perfect Dark was they shouldn't have put out the trailer. So, like, why get us all hyped up just to announce the project's canceled? It raises too many red flags about what's going on at the company. Another game, yeah, Champion. I got your message, by the way, Champion. I might play here in a little bit, but I just want to kind of play with comms off. I'm weird. But yeah. We might play some Battlefield tonight, actually. Anyway, we will go back to the PlayStation news. I thought I would jump over to Xbox for a little bit here to sort of talk about what has been going on here. And Danny, I did see your super chat. Thank you, first of all, but it seems, oh, hold on a minute. We got a call in from this Paris guy. Paris, are you there? Or are you just listening?
I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. How'd the wedding go? I saw you went to a wedding.
Oh yeah, it was fun. A lot of fun.
Great.
Beautiful San Diego. Can't complain.
I was in San Diego today, actually, and we drove by that mountain hiking place, and I was like, oh man, I gotta call Paris. Yeah. Anyway, how you been?
No, been good. It's been good to see you a couple times over the last few weeks at various events. I just jumped in because you're obviously talking about this PlayStation stuff, and
I think
just
it's so overblown. It's like super overblown, and it's just they've basically been saying it for months now. What are your thoughts?
yeah, and that's how I kind of look at it, as it is overblown. Like, people are taking it way too far, but I do think it's a signal towards the future, and you've kind of laid all that out already, that it's they're already multi-platform because they already put games on PC. It is pretty clear that they're going to continue to experiment and explore that further. Helldivers will be on Xbox in what, 2 weeks, right? So
Yep.
there's a first-party PlayStation game on Xbox. Sure, it's live service, but eventually, I do see them at least experimenting. Like, hey, what if we put, I don't know, just a random game, Uncharted on Xbox? Why not? And I think another side to this actually is when we get into the next gen hardware, regardless if PlayStation purposely ports a game to Xbox or not, these games will be playable on Xbox because they're already on Steam and on Epic. And
Yep.
Xbox has told us open platform. So those digital stores will be on the next console. And honestly, you're going to get a preview of this in October when the handheld comes out. And I know you had already, messed around and put Spider-Man on there, but that's just an example that these PlayStation games will be playable on other devices. So they might as well just embrace it at this point. And no, I don't think they're going to be anywhere near as aggressive as Xbox, but I do see them after a game essentially runs its course on the PlayStation 5 or the PlayStation 6. Let's see what it looks like on Switch. Let's see what it looks like on Xbox. They're already going to put it on PC, so I don't know what this is going to hurt. Because, and I'll say the last thing, what I'm realizing with Forza Horizon 5 is when you saw how many people bought it on PS5, you have people that are entrenched into their ecosystem, their digital library. They're not moving. So there were 3 million people that had 4 years to go buy an Xbox or a PC to play Forza Horizon 5, and they didn't do it.
Yep.
But as soon as it was on PlayStation, they bought it it wasn't discounted, it was full price. So I think that's another sign that put these games where the people are and people will engage with them and they'll buy it.
Yeah, and I just think the whole market landscape is going to change drastically, and it is a change for a lot of people out there, and they're kind of having a very visceral reaction. You know what's really crazy though? I feel like we just saw the same thing when we were talking about it with Xbox, and Xbox fans were nervous about the future of the platform, right? Fast forward a little bit, and now we're looking at the same thing with the PlayStation platform. They're saying,
I mean, yeah, 100%.
yeah, they're just making their comments about where they're at with hardware and how they're going to change some of their hardware strategies. I personally don't think it's that big of a deal. That's my hot take.
Yeah, because again, at the end of the day, when a PlayStation 6 comes out, if you bought a PlayStation 5, guess what? You're probably going to go buy a PlayStation 6. So not much is going to change. Same on the Xbox side. People that are loyal to Xbox, they're going to go buy that next gen Xbox. So just what does it matter? I don't think you're hurting the hardware anyways. And clearly we're hearing leadership on both sides essentially say that, yes, we will continue to make hardware, but it will no longer be the focus of whatever our strategy is going to be. And I think that's fine.
Yeah, me too. James says you and Paris should do a weekly podcast. I'd be down. Thank you for the $2.69 donation.
No, it's just been fun. Honestly, I've just been having a good laugh the last week or so over it because, like you're saying, people have just been freaking out about this. And if anything, we just saw what Xbox ultimately people will get over it and they'll be fine. I mean, think about it. Gears of War will be playable on a PlayStation in 2 weeks. And as weird as that sounds, it's fine. It doesn't hurt anything.
I think that's going to be great. I actually kind of want to play on PlayStation against other PlayStation players so that I can talk about like what that experience is like, and just they're going to like it. It's a great game. I remember how much I loved it, and I've played Reloaded. It's fun. I'm excited to watch PlayStation players who maybe they've never experienced it before get that opportunity. So a lot of people criticize me because I thought business strategy wise, what Microsoft would do is make things exclusive. That was made very apparent as that's not going to be their strategy, like during the FTC trial and everything like that. So now it's just kind of like, well, cool. I guess everybody gets to play. And soon that's going to include Xbox players playing PlayStation games like Helldivers 2. So
completely agree. Like you said, it's going to be fine. I think people are overreacting, the sky's falling. I think honestly, the most hilarious part of all of this, and I said it in the chat, is people going, "Well, you didn't hear it right. They didn't
Oh
translate it right."
yeah.
I'm like,
Here's
"What
the
translator do you even need?"
yeah. Here's the seeking alpha translation. It's like it's the same translation. It's
Yes,
this. They didn't. You didn't change anything.
I
So
know
yeah.
it's too funny.
Thanks for calling in, Paris. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me up, and yeah, I'm sure I'll see you again real soon.
Paris does live streams on X and such too. He has a very polished look. Keep up the great work, Paris. That was great. Yeah, going to be salty for a second. Paris is wonderful. If you want to check out his Ninja Gaiden 4 preview, or who else we got here? His Ninja Gaiden preview, or GameSpots, or Game Informers, or IGNs, or Windows Centrals, or Inverse, Gamers Prey, Mortismal, Maddie, Defining Duke, Punish, Beta, Fighting Cowboy, CG Mag, Khalif, Iron Lords, The Gamer, Games Writer, Kind of Funny, Curious Joy, CG Inferno, Xbox Era, Danny Pena, All Out Gaming, or Pure Gaming Hub. You can go check out all their Ninja Gaiden 4 previews. I will apparently be buying the game at launch. Thanks. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, great previews out there for Ninja Gaiden 4. It looks awesome. Just saying. I'm a huge Ninja I wouldn't say huge Ninja Gaiden fan. I did the guide for DMC back in the day. But yeah. Yeah, no, he does not work for the CIA. Continuing on the Xbox news, though, I just built that 2 up really quick. So now I got to fix where everything was. There was one other story that had a lot of people concerned. I said that Xbox needs to come out and say something about Forza Motorsport. They did. Here's what they said. Dear Forza community, we know many of you have questions about what's next for the Forza franchise, and we appreciate the support of our incredible community. We wanted to assure players that Turn 10 and Playground Games will continue to support Forza Motorsport and Forza Horizon 5. To start, here's more info about what's coming next to Forza Motorsport. And then they kind of talk about how they're adding a lot of Justin Santos, they did you dirty. Well, they don't have to. It's their prerogative, but I understand why you would want CG Inferno or Curious Joy, who made great videos about it. I'm just saying, like, maybe you could have. It would have been great if I could have got into that virtual preview session also, because the game looks great. Ninja Gaiden 4 does look great. But I got a lot going on anyway. There's a lot of great games like Metal Gear Delta, which I'm in the process of reviewing right now. I'm allowed to say I played it on PC and PS5 Pro. I was in New York this last week, and that's all I'm allowed to say right now about the game. Back to this Forza Motorsport news, though. So Forza Motorsport, for a long time, they just didn't say anything. There were all the layoffs at the beginning of the month, and people were really concerned. Oh, Miss 5,000 Watts, Miss 5,000 Watts also got to play. I'll add her to the list. Miss 5,000 Watts also got to play. So yeah. Do I need to be a specific type of member to join the chat? No. Are you in there? Sorry, Danny. No, you should just be able to click into the calling in, and then I drag you into the waiting room, and Philaroni makes sure you're not crazy, but you're cool. You could just come on in. Yeah, you should just be able to join. I don't know, because Paris just joined. He didn't have a problem. He's not a patron or anything. He's nothing special. Just a special guy. I didn't know how to segue out of that one. So anyway, everybody was really concerned about the Forza Motorsport news, and then this came out, and people are kind of worried that means we're not going to see another Forza in the future, that they're not going to be doing a ton of updates in the future. You have to remember, they fired half of Turn 10. So half of Turn 10 was let go, basically. And it leaves a lot of us wondering, like, so what does support for this game look like? I can't remember specifically how many hours I ended up playing of Forza Motorsport. How do you check it again? You go to the Xbox app, right? and then you can check your time played. I think I have at least 100 hours, if not 200. Yeah, so I think you go to your Xbox app and you like go to Forza. I really ended up enjoying this game a lot. Yeah, it's Forza Motorsport. Just Forza Motorsport, right? Here it is. I don't know how to see how many hours I played, though. Anyway, if somebody can tell me, I'll tell you. You have 100 hours on Forza Motorsport? Yeah, man. I went hard on the game. And like, I played it a lot, you know? I don't know how to check, though. I don't know how to check how many hours. I have a lot of hours in Forza Motorsport. I had a really good time with the game. I learned how to sim race in that game. And 9 days, 2 hours, 4 minutes. So let's see here. 9 times 24. 218 hours and 4 minutes. I have 218 hours and 4 minutes in Forza Motorsport. So that's how long, according to the Xbox app, that I played the game. I played it a lot. I did the money glitch, and then they took away all my money, and then I stopped. I don't know. They shouldn't have stopped. 200 hours a week. I had a great time with it. I learned how to, I used I think it was the GT, and I played it a lot. So anyway, long story short, a lot of people were concerned about this game, and then they put out this statement, and then when you actually click, they say they're going to continue supporting it. So at least they said something. The rumor was that it was dead. The rumor was that Forza Motorsport was just gone and nobody would be playing the game in the near future. So they put out this blog post just saying, and this is right after they just did a major update. They put out a blog post talking about how they're bringing back a lot of these events that they had in the past, and they will have rewards for you to chase in the game. But people who play it regularly are like, we had all of this stuff already. This feels like it's on life support, but it's not dead. So they are going to do something with it with half the amount of people. And my whole criticism now, or my question now, is make that math make sense. You have half the amount of people and you're going to somehow expect them to support an always online game. I don't know how that's possible. And I do hope that the game continues. It does need some improvements, and they just did a massive improvement, and it was looking pretty good for the most part. So people were really, really into it and enjoying their time with it. And now what is the question, right? And then continuing on with the Xbox not great news train, we'll get to the Ninja Gaiden 4 previews from all the people who I listed, including Miss 5,000 Watts. You know what? Fran probably has a preview out there too. I'm not salty. It's fine. Rod Fergusson said, after 5 years of driving the Diablo franchise forward with 4 big launches, it's time for me to step away from Blizzard/Microsoft, sword in hand, and see what's next. The teams are set up for success with an exciting slate of releases ahead. I'm incredibly proud of what we've built together and looking forward to what comes next for Diablo and me. So Rod Fergusson left Microsoft. Rod Fergusson is the guy he's credited as the guy who got a lot of these games across the finish line. Of course, Fran got to play it. That's great. Of course he did. Are you messing with me, Vicious? So yeah, Rod Fergusson has moved on from Diablo. He helped get Diablo 4 out the door. They managed to launch the game and get it out. So that was another big revelation. And there was a warn notice for Blizzard that you can find. A fan actually sent in a tip. By the way, yeah, if you have tips, like insider tips or just news tips, you can email the Destin channel at gmail.com. I respond. Usually it's brief, but I'll respond to you. And if you have a news tip you want to send in, you can send it there. And somebody pointed out that there was a new warn notice for administrative and janitorial staff actually being impacted at Activision Blizzard in the next few months. So we might actually see a little bit more because those will be taking place through the 30th of August. Paris says $100 rod goes to 2K for BioShock 4. I mean, maybe they could actually ship it at that point, because I don't know if you've heard the rumors, but BioShock 4 is not going great. We started off on PlayStation. We're going to go back to PlayStation in just a second. I want to cover off on one more Xbox story and sort of bridge the gap to go back to PlayStation. So here's what I'm thinking. Let's talk about Helldivers 2. Sony pushes Helldivers 2 to Xbox. Is the console war cooling off? This is from Adam Hales over at Windows Central. An unexpected but welcome move was a PlayStation pushed move, as Helldivers 2 is set to release on Xbox. Arrowhead CEO tells fans it was all PlayStation. Arrowhead has never worried about releasing this game on other platforms. They would have liked it to be in as many places as possible. They were against PlayStation adding the PlayStation sign-on requirement, which has since been removed. And now it has released over on the Xbox platform, or will be in the coming months. First of all, kudos to PlayStation and Arrowhead. Both of them want this. I think it's going to be a great way to get fans going into the field and playing together. The saddest thing I saw online were obviously the people who just take this stuff too seriously, saying, if you see somebody on Xbox, like, grief them, basically. And you know what's going to happen if you do that? Xbox fans, if that happens to you, put the call out, and Xbox fans who are playing Helldivers, let's mass report people like that. I don't usually advocate for that sort of thing, but if you're going to be the type of PlayStation gamer who specifically targets and griefs Xbox players because they want to play a cool game that is already available on PC and everywhere else, you should be reported. You should be reported to PlayStation. That is the kind of toxic fanboyism that we don't need to see in the video game industry. And I think you're going to have a real tough time when PlayStation says, that's not okay. You can't do that. And if Xbox gamers do that, I've never heard of Xbox gamers doing that to PlayStation gamers, but I would say the same thing. That's not cool. Don't do that. If you're going to go into a game specifically to grief players just because they play on one platform, then don't do that. Nico, you can turn the video off and go you know where. Don't come in here and tell me how to do my show. But anyway, that's what happened with Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 to Xbox. Is the console war cooling off? I certainly hope so. Phil Roney, just ban him. Actually, I'll do it. Nico, let me help you. Sorry, everybody. Sorry to ruin it. Yeah, just ban him. He can go. Bye, Nico. Have a good life. We're not going to do that. We're not going to have people coming in the chat and telling me my stream sucks. You can just leave. I'll help you find the door. Bye. And I am like I'm criticized for being lenient with my commenters. I'm super criticized for that. So if you want to come in here and you want to tell me that my content talking about Helldivers 2 coming to Xbox and how griefing people for playing on a platform is bad, I don't want you in my chat. Bye. Yeah, it's bad. Don't do that. I think we all agree that that is bad behavior. Anybody who in their right mind would think that's good behavior, or that should be welcome or accepted by any platform owner? Nobody. Thanks, Jatsu. I appreciate it. Yeah, every once in a while, I don't know. I don't get it. Anyway, continuing on. I think this is a cool story. I think this is great, and I hope to see this continue. Oh man, I like all you guys. Don't worry. Griefing's bad. But there were people out there saying specifically that they were going to do that. And that's not okay. Don't do that. Don't do that. You should be reported and flagged if that happens to you. Get a clip of it, put it online, retweet it, like it, place it. You think PlayStation's community management team is going to put up with that? No, you're going to be gone. What else was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, back to PlayStation stuff. Got an interesting one from Derek Strickland about PlayStation. Very interesting. Fahim says, what did Fahim say? Griefing is bad, and I'm a PlayStation player. I like PlayStation players. I play PlayStation games. I don't like anything like that. Like I think Red Dragon and I, or Oliver and I, could play a game and have some friendly ribbing or something like that. But yeah. No, Zombie Fanatic, that's not what happened. It's the combat Gears of War plus making live service money. Like, I'm excited to go play Gears of War with other players. That would be great. PlayStation made more from cross-platform games than it did from physical game sales in Q1 2025. Sony's new other software segment has outstripped physical game sales revenue, signaling that Sony's decision to break PS5 game exclusivity is successful. That is crazy. So they are making more money from launching on multiple platforms than just on PlayStation. Let's read more about this. I haven't read this very much. Sony's Q1 20... There are so many ads on this site. Ad blocker got uninstalled because I think it was screwing up my computer. Sony's Q1 2025... Can I do it in reading mode? I can't. I'm sorry. How do you go into reading mode? Reading mode. View in... Open in reading mode. All right, we're going to read this in reading mode. We'll do it like this. Sony's new other software segment has outstripped physical game sales. Can I like fully close this like even more? Because that would be great. Sony's latest Q1 25 financials offer an interesting update on PlayStation business, showing that the cross-platform initiative is helping a new game segment beat physical game sales. Inside PlayStation's walls, physical game sales revenues have been outstripped by a relatively new classification, other software, which includes first-party game sales and microtransactions made on non-PlayStation hardware. Essentially, what we are seeing is that on the PlayStation platform, physical software is now being more heavily stressed by the combined effect of digital sales made both on PC and PlayStation 5. This skew towards digital saw holiday 2024 physical game revenue drop to just $291 million, a low point for this kind of period. Derek is so good at diving into like the minutia of the stats. He does this for Xbox. He does this for PlayStation. And I find it so interesting the way that he like slices it apart. I had him on the channel when I was still with IGN, like way back in the day. And I really, really love his style of content. In Q1 25, which included Death Stranding 2's launch, PlayStation made $157 million from physical game sales compared to $175 million from other software. This discrepancy makes sense considering that PC is almost fully digital at this point, but it's worth considering that other software technically includes the Lego Horizon Adventure game that PlayStation Studios published on the Nintendo Switch. Other software includes the full catalog of PlayStation Studios and PlayStation Publishing games on Steam, which includes 23 titles. Here's how Sony defines other software segment. Other software is revenue from sales of first-party titles and other titles published by Sony Interactive Entertainment, including add-on content on platforms other than PlayStation consoles. Well, that's why they're doing it right there. They made more on other software than they did with physical game sales. that's a growth market for them. So I've thought this for a long time. I've thought that they're going to get more aggressive with their PC releases and their overall strategy with how they distribute their games. And to me, this just further indicates that that's the route that they're going. Let's keep reading. This news comes at an interesting time when Sony management says that PlayStation is moving away from a hardware-oriented business, there's the quote from the top of the show, and is now focusing more on community and engagement. This move at this specific time isn't atypical for the console industry. Given that PlayStation sales trends, the PlayStation 4 peaked shortly after the PS4 Pro released. Wait, let's read that again slower. The PS4 peaked shortly after the PS4 Pro released because of sales trends. And Sony has carried out a similar plan with the PS5, which recently achieved 80.3 million sales compared to the PS4's 82.4 million in a similar time frame. That's the discrepancy. So we're still, wait. So the gap actually increased from last quarter to this quarter, because I believe they were about 1.75 million apart. Now they're 2.1 million apart. So the gap in hardware sales increased. I think it's going to continue to increase. Maybe it gets more narrow during the holiday season. And then if it's going to surpass the PlayStation 4, it'll happen when the PlayStation 5 launches with Grand Theft Auto. I think that's when the graph goes past the PlayStation 4, if it's going to. I don't know that it will. To continue the multi-platform initiative, developer Arrowhead has announced plans to release Helldivers 2 on Xbox, where it'll join other PlayStation-published live service games like Destiny 2, MLB The Show, and eventually Marathon. Yeah, whenever Marathon comes out, when/if Marathon comes out. Great set of analysis from Derek. Man, Derek does really good stuff. I haven't gone to Tweaktown in a bit, but that is a good catch on his part. I have a whole bunch of tabs open. I think what I'll do next is we're going to go back to all the PlayStation news and just make sure that I didn't miss anything, like the fact that they're diversifying their console sales chain. Sony CFO Lin Tao says they have already moved production of PlayStation 5 consoles sold in the US to outside of China to combat US tariffs. They also plan to move production of peripherals sold in the US to outside China by the end of September 2025. If you're not aware, China in the tariff thing got hit the hardest. And I believe that the other platforms, the other locations anyway, where you can ship stuff, were not hit quite as harshly as other destinations. So, good news. Sorry, I was reading Phil Roney. Phil Roney sent me something in DM. So, pretty good news overall, in my opinion. Continuing on. So about games consoles, we are diversifying our supply chain. As for consoles, we have already transferred the production. And if we include peripherals, so to transfer to outside China, we will be completing that by the end of the first half. Hardware sold in the US are now outsourced outside of China. And that is to avoid the tariff. I have to wonder how this is impacting China at the end of the day. I know they sort of did a little bit of a make nice, but so far, it seems like they're still getting rocked pretty hard by the tariffs. Going through all of my quote tweets here. We talked about the gaming hardware thing. I have the full 46-minute call here. This is the actual source of the call. And one other story that I didn't get to go over, I'm probably going to make a completely separate video about it. What's about Marathon and Bungie? Because the news coming out of that earnings report is that things are changing at Bungie, and it's changing rapidly. Sony CFO Lin Tao says that PlayStation still plan to release Marathon within this fiscal year, which is by March 2026. She says they are planning for either Bungie or PlayStation to announce a new release date for Marathon in the autumn time frame, We are now fixing the problems, so believe this launch will happen. And if this launch is canceled, we need to do the revision of the valuation. However, as of now, this is not expected. So right now, it's not expected. That was August 7th. There was one other update about how Bungie is getting lighter in terms of their control of the company. Sony's CFO says Marathon is expected to release within the current fiscal year, which ends in March 2026, and that Bungie's independence is progressively getting lighter as it continues to integrate with PlayStation Studios. Here's the thing about that statement. Christopher Barrett has a lawsuit where he alleges that there is a deal in place with Sony where if Bungie doesn't hit specific goals, then I'm paraphrasing this from memory, but then the board of directors will shift to being PlayStation focused. And that means that PlayStation will take over Bungie. I have to be honest. One thing, it's like I'm getting older. I'm 43. I don't even know, 40 something now, right? So here's the thing. I think we're going to see more situations where these companies that we love, these old companies that have been around for a long time, have seen so much churn, so many departures, that they are not the same companies we fell in love with. One of those companies are Bungie. They have lost so much of the core talent at that company at this point that I don't really know who's left. There's a few people I really like who have worked on things that I really like. And that's great. But is it the same team that launched Halo 2? Absolutely not. They're scattered to the wind. BioWare's another example brought up in chat. BioWare, the people who made Mass Effect, there's maybe 3 of them still there, right? It's more than that, obviously. I'm being a little hyperbolic, but it's not the same people making those games. It's like the new generation. And sometimes the new generation does a great job with new games. Like the Capcom team remaking the old Capcom games, the old Resident Evils. They're doing a good job. But the new BioWare team and the internal politics at BioWare have seemed to have issues where they're not able to coalesce in the same way that those original teams did. And that it's really just been a wake-up call for me that the Bungie I knew isn't the Bungie of 2025. The BioWare I knew isn't the BioWare of 2025. And while I'm still hopeful that they come up with a great game that I fall in love with and love the same way I did with the original Mass Effect or the visions that Casey Hudson had for BioWare back in the day, it's such a drastically different team with a few core leaders in place that I don't know that we will ever get back to those days. It's kind of exciting in one way because we know that a lot of the team members from that original BioWare group are now working on whatever's being developed over at, they're working on Exodus, the Exodus game, right? With some of the former BioWare people over there. So Exodus is being developed and it looks very Mass Effect-y. So we will probably get a spiritual sequel to Mass Effect. There are people in leadership at BioWare working on the new Mass Effect, and I am very, very excited about it. And I believe in them. Yeah, I believe in them, and I'm going to give it a shot with an open mind. But in the back of my head, I remember this is not the same team. Don't pre-order. It's a new team. And like Battlefield 6, man, that's a new team, and they're knocking it out of the park. It can happen, but I'm more cautious. I think I'm more cautious than I ever have been because the stakes are so high for these companies and they need so much money to hit that bar. So when I see stuff like this Bungie story and how Bungie is folding into PlayStation, I think we saw the writing on the wall with this when they had revenue targets that were 45% larger than what they were capable of hitting. So yeah, unfortunate story, but I wanted to dive into that a little bit more. That's kind of all I had for this evening. I think, did I miss any big stuff? Did I miss anything big that I should have covered off on? I'm just looking at give Knoble goes Gamescom. Give him some props because he is great. Oh yeah, and the plagiarism scandal. He's great. He does these like news roundups. We talked about how OD is still in development. I already covered the price leaks of the ROG Xbox Ally and Rod Fergusson leaving. We covered off on these. We covered off on that. Oh, this was just a funny comment that I forgot to mention. Sony's CFO says SIE live service shift is not entirely going smoothly, but that it will be the right thing long-term. Live service games accounted for around 40% of first-party software revenue for the first quarter. Any Nintendo stuff? I haven't seen a lot from Nintendo. Nintendo gave me the review code of Donkey Kong, and I never even got to play it yet. I should probably do like a first impressions video or something for Donkey Kong. I'm at the point where if you're going to send me a code for something, I will tell you usually, hey, I'm slammed. I don't know if I'm going to get to this one. Or just say, I can't cover this game. Like, I'll take this code, but there's a chance I don't have time to cover it right away. And either they let me have the code or they give it to somebody else who has the time, right? Just one guy. I got a lot going on. PlayStation 5 sold 80.3 million units. David Smith, a founder at Media Molecule, left the studio. Nothing. I'm not seeing anything in here. Nintendo reconfirmed Metroid Prime 4 for 2025, so that's good. The My Mario game. And then that's kind of it. To close out, I did want to talk about Metal Gear Solid Delta because this trailer came out a month ago. It is for a mode called Fox Hunt, and I might have forgotten to react to it earlier. So let me see what's this is. Do I have this set up? Let me turn my camera back on this one, and we can watch this really quickly. This one? Boop. Should we do the circle camera? Or the regular camera? I got to find the regular camera. I don't know where it is. What is this? That is my capture. What is this? I don't even know what that is. Well, I have the circle camera ready to go. There we go. There's the regular. All right. Let's watch this Fox Hunt trailer.
So I'm Yu Sahara, the director for Fox Hunt mode in Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Fox Hunt is a completely original online multiplayer mode. Though it shares the same world with Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, the gameplay is completely different. When we say Metal Gear multiplayer, many fans will probably think of Metal Gear Online.
Heck yeah, this is great.
But Fox Hunt will be its own new type of mode. We very much appreciate all the longtime fans of MGO who have always wanted to see it make a comeback, but the landscape of multiplayer games has changed a lot since MGO.
So real quick, MGO, Metal Gear Online, I think there are still people running servers for Metal Gear Online to date. It would remain popular for such a long time that I'm really happy to see that with Metal Gear Solid 5 still going strong, well, still going anyway, that they're doing something in the multiplayer space.
It took a lot of careful consideration to think about what a new online mode should look like. Based on the iconic stealth and survival elements in the Metal Gear series, we are taking camouflage and hide-and-go-seek to the next level. We challenged ourselves to make something unique that is more than just a shootout.
That looks cool.
We've used that back and forth tension of staying hidden or searching out the enemy to create an online experience unique to Metal Gear. Those are all the details we can share with you for now, but we're working hard on getting Fox Hunt to you all. We plan to have more news on Fox Hunt in the future, so please stay tuned.
Looks great.
We still have more to share, so look forward to hearing even more about what's coming in Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater.
Great,
Thank you.
great. So, the big news with this one, I think they confirmed that Fox Hunt is actually launching sometime after Metal Gear Delta launches. But stuff like this is really cool. This is sort of a fun mode. You ever hear of prop hunt in Call of Duty? I've seen a lot of really fun clips about prop hunt also, and I see that this is going to be just a really, really good way for them to get new player interest and just sort of like a fun cat and mouse game with Fox Hunt for Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. So excited to play that when it comes out. Who in chat is excited for Metal Gear Solid Delta? Anybody? Like, is it on top of your radar, or are you into it or no? Yeah, so it says it's going to launch this fall. And that's about all that we know about it. So it's scheduled for fall 2025. Day one, I'm excited. Gonna pre-order it. 1000% hyped. Okay, so people are really into Metal Gear Solid Delta. Yeah. I'm hopeful that they do a good job about it. Hey, good job with it. The game comes out, the 28th? So don't forget, check out my review, August 22nd. At embargo time. I believe the embargo is right at midnight, and I'm very, very excited to play. Hey, thanks for hanging out with me and watching, everybody. Don't forget that you can call in. I'll do the call-in thing again, but nobody ever takes advantage of it. So call in, come watch, hang out. You are more than welcome to call in and chat with me. I'm not afraid of talking to people and having a different idea than you about what PlayStation is doing or what Xbox is doing, etc. Thanks for watching, everybody. Did I miss any super chats before I do the outro? Danny Passion says, that's my worry with Gears of War E-Day. That was 8 minutes ago. What's your worry? What's the worry, Danny? Gears of War E-Day works great. How do you call in? You just go over to Discord. I think I have to update the Discord link, though. I was just about to head out. Where are we at? We did pretty good on concurrence today. Thanks for watching, everybody. I do greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. I do greatly appreciate you watching. Thank you so very much. Subscribe if you would like to see more. Hit that like button on this video. All that good stuff. If you want to support, patreon.com/SafeStatePlus is the place to do so. Or you can click that join button right there to become a YouTube member. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now.